Hello and welcome to Who Are You? We're the Babylon 5 watchcast by a couple of former strangers, now friends, who are still getting to know each other over one of their favorite shows from their childhood, Babylon 5. I'm Laura,
And I'm Xhafer.
and today I'd like to ask Xhafer a very important question
Yes.
because we know that the Babylon 5 reboot is imminent any day now.
Right. Totally
Uh,
not just stalled out in reboot hell.
Definitely, probably not. And obviously, Crusade
Yeah,
is going to be a thing after the Babylon 5
for
reboot that
sure.
is wildly successful. So, if you were going to reboot Crusade, how would you cast it?
I thought a lot about this because obviously
Yeah,
this is something that we're not doing off the dome.
definitely not.
Definitely not. What kind of podcasters would we be if we just came up with a bit 30 seconds before we hit record?
Never.
Never.
So
Right?
unprofessional.
It'd be so incredibly unprofessional. I would never stoop to that level. I know you're a pro, so
Mm,
we're not doing that for sure. But if I did have to come up with some recasting. For Gideon, I want someone that has a commanding presence, you know? I want
mhm.
someone that can tell someone to go fuck themselves without using those words
Sure.
many ways over, but also I want someone who can do a little bit of mystery, and I want someone who can just kind of pull a solution out of their ass, right?
Okay.
And when I think about those qualities, in particular, that last one,
Uh-huh.
there's only one name. There's a pro in that game, and that's Richard Dean Anderson.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that poll.
Yeah.
Richard Dean Anderson.
Who you thinking for Gideon?
Well, there's only one obvious choice
Yeah.
for me, and that is Gary Cole.
I had not anticipated this. This I had not anticipated.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. He
I
can
mean,
still do it. I think
yeah,
he's
look
still
at this
alive,
man.
right?
He's still alive.
Okay.
Well, he's 67.
Okay.
So he's gonna bring a gravitas to it that he didn't before.
Okay.
But some of his, like, experienced bad boy gets the job done will be a little more believable
Mm-hmm.
at this age. He's still got a great head of hair if you see some of his recent pictures. So I think that's all we need, right?
Yeah, the hair's important.
Yeah, well, what would you do for Matheson?
Matheson, I want someone who is confident, but not overtly so. I want them to have a like underlying kind of anxiety, right? I want it to be a little bit more believable. Maybe they don't really feel entirely sure of their position, but they're there and they're going to make the most of it.
Mhm, mhm.
Someone who probably a bit older than our Daniel Day Kim, you know, just someone
Okay.
maybe a little bit more experienced. Someone who's a bit of a nerd.
Very important.
Yeah. And when I think nerd who's kind of bumbling but can pull it off and is also like super built for no reason, I'm thinking Michael Shanks.
And this is where I have to Google that person because I can't make a joke about them. Okay, you gotta tell me who he was on Stargate.
Oh God, fucking what's his name? I don't know. I only watched 10 episodes of that fucking show. That's not true. I watched like 15.
Daniel Jackson. He was Daniel Jackson.
DJ, that's right. Okay.
Can you elaborate a little more on why his DJ-ness makes him great for the
His DJ makes him great for the role because it's my weakest casting of the four and I'm doing a bit.
Well, again, I have only one person in mind for the role of Matheson, and that is the cheekbones of Daniel Day Kim.
Oh yeah, those cheekbones. So important
Once
to that
again,
character.
if you look at this actor, and we know some of his recent work, he's more than capable. And I'm just feeling like everyone in Crusade needs a do-over.
Okay.
Almost everyone.
Almost everyone.
Who do you want to do next?
Why don't we do Dr. Chambers?
Okay.
So, Dr. Chambers, again, I want someone who's believable that they're going to save the world, right? Because I think if Crusade had been allowed to run its storyline in full, Chambers is the one who's going to like actually get the cure here, right? Like Gideon and crew are going to find it and lead the journey, but Chambers is the one who's going to be all like, no, this is actually the cure. No, this is how it works. Like, she's the person who's going to save the entire human race.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I want
Mhm.
someone that I can believe is going to pull that off. So I need someone who has a aura of intelligence. I need someone who has an aura of confidence again. And I think Amanda Tapping would be excellent in this role.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I've given my bit away a little bit in that I think everyone in Crusade needs a do-over.
Yeah.
Almost everyone in Crusade needs a do-over, but I think no one needs that do-over more than Margene Holden,
Yeah.
because girlfriend got robbed with this script and this whole setup, and I think that she needs a chance to do it again,
Mhm.
and with some better material, which always happens in reboots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I think Ellerson was the last name we'd thrown around.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Eilerson.
yeah. So for Max, I want someone who can be an asshole, but still can get the job done. I need someone who can just kind of like say things and it sounds like they make sense, but there's no
Mm,
possible way he could know that.
mhm.
And when I think about someone who fills that role, I think Christopher Judge.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
what a classic.
Hmm.
So, Max Eilerson is the character that does not deserve a do-over, and I am writing him out of the reboot entirely. No Eilerson for anybody.
No, that's a big improvement.
Yeah, now it's a success.
That's all we needed to do. Is
Yeah,
just get rid of that
totally
guy.
agree. Well,
Maybe,
we solved Crusade, I
yeah,
think.
our friend of the pod, Austin, is really big in the fan edit community.
Oh,
Like
mhm.
that's a big hobby of his. I would love to
Ooh.
see what he would do with Crusade if he were to try and get rid of Ellerson.
Yeah.
Please don't
Your
do
your
that to
mission
yourself, Austin.
yeah, your mission should you choose to accept it, but you really don't have to, it's totally fine.
Please don't.
Yeah, yeah, I'm into it.
Okay.
All right, well, we unfortunately do have an episode with Max Eilerson in front of us.
We do. We've got
Wah, wah.
3 episodes of Crusade left. The Crusade to finish Crusade rolls on.
Mhm.
We have
Week by week.
Patterns of the Soul.
Mhm. Yeah.
Does that even make sense for this episode?
I was just wondering the same thing. Like, what is it even like, he likes to have his, like, little poetic type
Yeah.
titles, right? And there usually is a way that they pretty obviously connect.
Yeah.
I'm not picking it up here.
Nor am I. Maybe I missed a line somewhere.
Hmm.
But we open on. Did you catch this? What we open on? Like the immediate opening, not the conversation, not the Sheridan name drop. Before that,
There was a something.
there's like 7 seconds of porn groove.
Oh.
It's like really awkward music choice, even for this show, and it's terrible music choices.
Yeah, we've had some pretty notable ones already,
Yeah.
so, yeah, why not just open it up with the porn maybe they got the, soundtrack mixed up
Mm.
from that one episode that did open with literal porn.
Yeah. What is this TV show?
What happened, guys?
How? How? I forgot. Like it's like a fever dream. You say a thing that happened in Crusade, and it's just all like, oh yeah, that did happen. Fuck. I'm already blocking it out of my brain.
I know this journey has been, tedious.
Mhm.
But I'm glad we're going on this journey because I am a bit of a completionist, and so I did always feel kind of like, "Well, I didn't ever actually watch Crusade," and now I can say that I have.
Checked the box.
Uh-huh.
The famous gauge on which life is judged on.
Mm. Yeah. This is, getting scratched off the old bucket
Yeah.
list, so
When Anubis grabs the scales and the
all
feather
the
is
people
placed, he's gonna look at you and go, "But did you finish Crusade?" and you'll be able to say yes.
Yes, I did, sir. Anubis is a sir, I think.
Probably. It's safe to Sir Anubis.
Mhm.
So Gideon's getting yelled at by his boss here. He needs to go check if a colony is infected with the plague so they can relocate them. We cut over to Max, who's also getting yelled at by his boss for not
Mhm.
giving the evil corporate things.
Yeah, you're not doing enough evil, like, be doing more evil, like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
Do more evil,
Jesus.
Max. Fuck.
Yeah. I surprisingly didn't feel bad about Eilerson getting his butt chewed, that was kinda fun.
Yeah.
But then he goes to chew on Gideon's butt some more because he's mad now that we're changing course and he doesn't get to go do evil.
Mm-hmm. We find out this colony is 30 people here.
Yeah, not much of a colony.
Yeah, they escaped during the Drakh attack. I don't know how you call 30 people a colony.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's a rest stop.
Yeah, it's like they're a contingent or something.
Yeah.
But they're not a colony. And I question strongly how they got out of Earth
Mhm.
as the drug because it's the way they made it sound is it's like as the plague is being distributed, they're like taking off.
Yeah.
And it's like there were like a lot of enemy ships around. And
Yeah.
there was like a big battle. Like who was letting them go through like the pre-flight check sequence
Like
when
there's
this is all
a
happening?
big battle, right?
Mhm.
We find out they're all military.
Yeah.
You know, the captain dude served on the battle of the line and everything, right?
Oh, that's true. So they're not like afraid of it.
But also fucking they talk about how they're all from a different colony in this episode. How they were all living on this biochem colony.
Oh
What the fuck
yeah.
were they doing on Earth during the attack? They all just happened to be
Uh,
there?
there was a big conference where they were showing off all their biochem stuff. And you gotta have your subjects there to be poked and prodded.
Ugh.
I don't know. Yeah, so on the planet,
Mm-hmm.
one of the human colonists
Yeah.
is, like, hassling some guy about rolling the stones and seeing portents, and, this guy's in his, like, hooded
Yeah.
thing, and he's clearly very unwell, and he says that this guy has brought doom to his people and asks him to leave him alone so he can die to theme.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones are bringing about all of their deaths. They're going to use the nanovirus shield here to go down just in case they're infected.
Glad we have some continuity on that,
Yeah.
that we're using the thing. Mhm.
So I wonder, because if this is supposed to be much earlier in the original Air Order.
Oh, is it? Okay.
If this is supposed to be a thing that we assume is happening every time they go to one of these planets that has the possibility of having had the plague on it.
Yeah, like these dead worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe they were nanovirus shielding the whole time.
Yeah. And we're just to
Ah.
assume it because we see it here.
Yeah, great question.
You would need something like that in the plot, I would think.
Yeah. For some reason, we're going to send Gideon down to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
Captain goes on away missions. This ain't Star Trek.
yeah. He confronts the colony leader who doesn't believe that they could be infected.
Yeah, this is
Uh,
Robert Black, played by Brian Thompson, who's a real that guy.
Oh, yeah? Tell me about him.
I clocked him immediately as Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, one of the worst movies ever made.
Beautiful.
But
He does have a look like he could be in Mortal Kombat.
He's in all kinds of stuff. The other thing, Beth immediately recognized him as Luke from Buffy.
Ah, okay.
So he's got a laundry list on IMDb. He agrees to do a blood sample when Darina finds out that she has the same loaf as the old Stones guy. He sends her to their village. It's a big to-do for her. She thought she was the last of her peoples.
Yes, we did find that out in Call to Arms, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this guy thinks that she's some kind of prophet. Of course, like we always think that in this sort of situation. But Gideon tells Black that he does need to return to Earth. Tim, I think, is the one who's extremely mad about this.
Yeah. Yes,
refuses to go back. Black tells him, well, we may have like doomed the other people on this planet. the like actual tribe that they call themselves, I think.
Their words, yeah.
Yeah. And he says, the captain probably knows what we are anyway. Like they've probably told him everything, which no, of course they didn't. But Tim does not want to go back and be a lab rat.
No, they talk about who and what they are very obliquely.
Ooh, spooky. Max babbles some Bible stuff at Gideon. That's what I wrote here because I did not understand what was happening between Max and Gideon.
He is claiming that ignorance is bliss. This is basically that one scene from The Matrix.
The Matrix probably did it better.
Yes.
Dorina scales a cliff, which looks super real.
Okay, this drove me mad. So she has to like climb this giant cliff face to get up there, right?
She's always climbing shit. Have you noticed?
How did that old guy get down? The guy who can't walk? How did he get down this cliff face? If this is the only way up to the village?
Yeah.
How do they do anything? There's not a lot of space up here.
But Dorina's just... she has to always be climbing shit so we don't forget that she's the rogue.
Yeah.
Because they had her climb that one building where she went across the light bridge.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We had her trying to climb the home of the Lady of the Bong Water.
Mm-hmm.
We're climbing up this cliff right now. Yeah, it's a little bit overused, perhaps.
Yeah.
Gideon calls home and gets yelled at some more for
Mhm.
giving the colonists time to pack.
He starts digging in some records after this.
Yeah,
using
he's
a
suspicious.
Top secret, unauthorized, hey, we know you're not the dude, you have to say the second password now kind of a thing. What kind of system is that?
I was going to say, this feels like a password security rant coming on.
Can you imagine if your MFA failed and it was just all like, another password, please?
Yeah. Can I tell you something adorable?
Sure.
I love academics. They're the most hilarious people sometimes, often not on purpose. And one of my professors, there's this system for, how should I describe it? It's from the Wharton School at University of Pennsylvania that they put up a whole bunch of data stuff.
Okay.
And you sign into it and you can get data sets to run analysis and stuff. Yeah. It's all like CompuStat and audit analytics. They're like public kind of things, repositories of public information. And they recently started that multi-factor authentication. And twice now I have watched this professor like do the sign in class. And then he forgets that it's going to call him. And he's like, who is this calling me? Like genuinely, like, I can't believe someone's calling me in class right now. And we're like, it's the MFA professor.
The computer. The computer's the one calling you. The call's coming from inside the classroom.
It's adorable. I love it. Anyway, moving on.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the super secret passwords.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird. We find out the colonists are infected very early here.
Yeah.
It is not a mystery. And so Gideon also starts digging through the ship's logs, see where they've been, who they've talked to, where they stopped. Mm-hmm. Dorina gets the skinny from her lost tribe. Once again, their words.
Basically, they were slaves of another race, I think. I think they said that their people were being taken by others and their ship was destroyed in orbit. So we get to see the story. I don't think they know this, but we see that the shadows destroyed their ship while it was in orbit. And, so they, I assume, got on life pods or whatever.
Yeah.
And made a home here.
Yep.
I wish we knew who the other race was that enslaved them.
Just give me a little bit more.
Because you think like, oh, could it have been the Drakh? But why would the shadows destroy the ship? Maybe it was a Vorlon associated race. But would the Vorlons, they do slave things? I don't know.
Probably. They're shitbags.
They're all bad, right?
Yeah, they're all terrible. Who the fuck knows? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or maybe the shadows are just doing their like evolution through chaos thing. And so they're like shooting their own allies.
Yeah, maybe they were pissed that they were taken in the first place and they came around to blow them up after they had destroyed the homeworld.
Yeah.
It's like, no survivors. Some of that shit. I don't know. Chambers confirms Gideon's concern that the colonists were infected after escaping.
Yeah. She finds like a CD-ROM. Oh, no, wait, that's actually food in the trash. And the colonists had left Earth before the plague, but they were given it through the food that they bought.
Mm-hmm. Just bizarre.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make sense, but I mean it does in the terms of the plot, but like why you would even risk this, like
Mhm.
just seems
It's so weird.
so foolhardy.
Yeah, especially like the whole point of quarantining Earth is to keep this shit in one place and we don't infect anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And the risk of like sending it to get at someone else as a also a weapon, I don't know. It's just madness. Why would you
Yeah.
do this thing? Because
It's
that so easily gets out of your hands. Like somebody's like, "Ooh, food crate," steals a food crate,
yeah.
and then it's all over.
And then Minbar is infected now.
Yeah,
Because Lanier got into a food supply and gave it to a homeless person or some shit. Like it's
yeah,
just so fucking dumb. It's
hmm
so dumb.
yeah. Darina has called Dr. Chambers to come check out her people. She has not told anybody
Hmm.
that these are her people and that she's found other sentient life forms. She just said she needs her to check out some native life and she wants to get them tested to see if they have the virus as well.
Yeah, which of course they do.
Of course they do. Yeah.
They already know. They don't need to be tested. The stones have already told them.
So on her way back, Dr. Chambers gets jumped by Tim. He's
Hmm.
not going to go back. He starts to give up the ghost on
Yeah,
it. No, that's not the phrase.
it is a phrase. Give up the ghost. That's a phrase. I don't think it
That's when you
means.
die though.
It's I mean, it's kind of a. I think it's like a resignation of the inevitable,
Okay. We'll go with
colloquially.
that.
But
Whatever it is, he's given it up.
he's given it up.
He's informs us that they're all cybernetic beings
Hmm.
and pretty mad about it.
Yeah. They kidnap. He kidnaps Dr. Chambers here. Dorina like catches up, gets like instantly thrown away, and then they
Yeah.
just keep going. It's like
She's good, but she's not beat the cyber being good, unfortunately.
this is so pointless. In wrestling parlance, we'd call this bad booking. All this does is make the character we care about look weak without any chance for her to like come back from it.
Yeah.
So,
I wish she could have done something clever.
right. I wish she could have done anything besides be sad this episode. I mean, she's got plenty of stuff to be sad about, but it feels like
Yeah.
you might be madder at the humans who have now infected the last survivors of your people after finding out that you were not alone in the galaxy.
Yeah.
You might want to take that out on them. You might not be chill and passive about it.
She's had a lot of agency taken away from her in this episode, which I think is kind of a beef I have with like 90s male sci-fi writers when they do a strong female character
Mm-hmm.
with quotes around it.
Strong on those air quotes on
Yeah.
that strong.
Yeah, they want to make her into a badass, but then they just yank like all of her agency away at some point because
Yeah.
it's convenient for their story. Very
Yeah,
annoying
if
to
Gideon
watch.
can't save the day later in this episode, then what's the point of any of it?
Mm, indeed.
Duh.
So Robert Black tells us he was at the Battle of the Line
Yeah.
and then got stuck in bioweapons.
Yep. He was trying to be a big old hero as a young kid in the
Mhm.
military and just ends up not having a great time.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to make a name for yourself until things actually happen.
Yep. While this conversation is going on, Tim takes off on their shuttle with a handful of people. I
Mhm.
guess 30 people fit on this shuttle.
That's a big shuttle.
It's just the normal shuttle, though. Like, if you look
Hmm.
at it, it's just the same old shuttle we see all the time.
I bet it has a basketball court.
Well, it does have artificial gravity and the same bridge as an Earth Force destroyer, despite it just being the normal shuttle. So,
Totally
probably
normal shuttle. Yeah.
completely normal shuttle. it is this level of stuff that drives me mad because Babylon 5 was giving so much attention to detail on this shit, and Crusade
Yeah.
just can't be bothered to give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's actually my problem with the whole show. It just
Mhm.
can't be bothered.
Yeah, so Darina calls Gideon and lets him know that Dr. Chambers is a hostage on that shuttle, so maybe
Mhm.
don't just, like, shoot it down.
So he shoots it down.
Yeah, he shoots it down, and then Black and Darina talk about their situation. He lost the love of his life to these implants,
Mhm.
and they just wanna be free, but then they're interrupted by the explosion in the sky.
Yeah. Gideon hails the general. They FaceTime for a minute, and he shows them the destruction of the ship. But it's all a ruse. Even though technically it's not a fake. He did blow up that shuttle, which is, I guess, important, but whatever. It's not,
Yeah.
he gets them.
Yeah, the tape is iffy. So he does tell the general after he's like, "Yeah, I blew their asses out of the sky." That, "Hey, this is weird.
Yeah.
They definitely weren't infected when they left Earth. They got infected on the way to this planet somehow."
What a
Hmm.
coincidence.
Yeah. Maybe somebody should look into that. What do you think, General?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will send our best people on it right away. You should definitely not do that. Also, go on a different mission now. Bye.
Yeah. No, he doesn't even say we'll put people on it. He's like, nah, there's no investigation
Yeah.
necessary needed into that. Like, that's what you should have said, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we will get a team on that, but you guys have other shit to do. Go do that other shit.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, he says the more suspicious thing.
Yeah. I'm going to be lazy with my conspiracy. Ah, yes.
Yeah. So Gideon tells the colonists that he's going to leave a satellite
Mm-hmm.
at this planet to warn others away since the plague has jumped species.
Yep.
That satellite will also make sure nobody leaves, so don't try to do that.
Yeah, it'd be bad.
And then on the way back, he and Darina kind of have a conversation about truth, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to know how he found out about the cybernetics. Like,
Yeah.
where'd you get that information? That's very interesting.
Got to do a little tradesy here to build the trust.
Yeah.
And he kind of tells her, I mean, I guess he tells her in a way that would matter for her. Because it's not like he's going to name drop the general who got too drunk and fucked up at cards.
I'm really curious about this, though.
I wish we knew our generals better. I feel like
Mhm.
in a next gen where we know all of the admirals' names, this could be really fun to know that like Nechayev got super drunk playing cards one time.
To give up her codes.
Yeah, but for us here, it's so fucking pointless.
Yeah. He won the security codes in a poker game.
Yeah.
Maybe we just really wanted to establish the poker so that the apocalypse box made more sense.
Ugh.
I love saying that. I love bringing up the box anytime. But yeah, I wonder if that was gonna be a point later, like maybe
Mm,
we were gonna meet that general someday.
that would make sense. I
Yeah.
hope so.
He's gotta still be alive.
Maybe in our script reading, we'll find out.
Yeah, that'll come up. You know, he's gotta still be alive or those codes wouldn't be active, right?
Yeah.
You hope?
Dr. Chambers gives Max shit for being a corporate shill.
You know, for as much as we brought it up at the beginning and the end of this episode, there
Mhm.
was really nothing to do with Max being a corporate shill in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's just giving him a hard time, kind of apropos of nothing, which is weird.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he confronts her about Darina's people. He's kind of figured that out. I don't know if he was looking at her notes or just figured out something about the mission records or I don't know.
Yeah.
Very forgettable, whatever it was. And she refuses to like take the bait. She's not going to give this information up, even though she did tell Gideon, right? Yeah, she did. That's how we got here. And Darina goes to visit Chambers to apologize. I think for her anger on the planet's surface, or I don't know why she's apologizing exactly.
I don't know. So much of this doesn't make sense.
But Chambers forgives her and does let her know that because her people had this virus before, the virus is more effective on them.
Yeah.
And so it's only going to take 1 year for them. And after that, they will all perish.
Big sads.
Big sads, especially because, like, we know Earth has 4 years, 5 years, really, but,
Yeah.
Gideon's gonna have to come home after 4 because of a weird promise he made. So it's like, what happens to this show after 1 year if we don't I don't know.
Yeah, if they don't cure the plague in a year and we just know that Dorina's people are dead somewhere.
Yeah. I wonder if this was the show saying, "Don't worry, it's not gonna be 4 seasons of plague stuff. Like, we're just gonna get through this, and then we'll figure out something else, okay, guys?" Like, we're not gonna let all these people die.
All 12 of them that have been there
Yeah,
for
I have no idea.
generations, it seems like.
I think they said that, yeah.
You can't, like, maybe a couple generations, but, like, if you have not enough people.
Mhm. You get a genetic problem eventually,
Yeah,
right?
right? Pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
maybe the loaf is all Habsburg chins.
Oh, that's kinda sad. I hope they don't have any, like, hemophilia or something like
Yeah,
that.
I want the best for these imaginary people.
Me too. Especially since they got a pretty raw deal.
They sure did.
They had to be in Crusade. So
That's definitely the worst thing that happened to them. Well, that's an episode. We did it. We got
Yeah.
through another one.
Oh, I forgot to give Mr. Eilerson his credit, though.
Oh, yeah.
At the very end, he calls home to IPX.
Yep.
And he records his report, and he makes his tattletale line to out Dorina's people.
Yeah.
But then he thinks about it and deletes it to credits.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think we have any ridiculous music for me to point out this time.
Yeah.
This time.
All right. Well, we agreed to do this rating system like 2 years ago, so we should probably do the rating system. Out of 1 to 4 main guns firing. Well, actually, I'm going to rephrase that. With a maximum of 4 main guns firing.
Yeah. I don't think the main guns are firing, Xhafer. I think the gunner has fallen asleep.
Right.
I think he's out cold.
Is this the worst episode? I don't think we've given anything a 0 before. I don't think either of us have ever given anything a 0. And I think we're about to 00 this thing, aren't we?
The only time we have diverted from the scale, like, completely with not numerical stuff is either, like, this is the best episode or the fuck this episode, right?
Is this an inverse fuck this episode? Because the fuck this episode is a fuck this episode not because it's bad or terrible, but because, well, at least for me, it makes me feel things that I don't want to feel. This episode makes me feel nothing.
Yeah. What would that be?
This is like the clinical depression of episodes.
This is like, for me, it's like white bread, and I don't mean it in like the insult that colloquial in the world right now of, just like white bread.
Oh no, this is a mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread. This is bland as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just there's no taste to it. It's kind of, how white bread, like when you squish it, gets icky gross, like doughy, like.
I don't want to sound like a pretentious asshole, but I don't eat a lot of American bread. Almost.
But you've seen it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I after I had the real stuff, I just can't eat our shitty American bread anymore. It's so bad.
Never gone. Yeah.
You have to. You have just. I mean, just
no. I mean, I've never gone back. Like,
once you start baking your own bread.
Yeah.
Or have access to a bakery that makes real shit.
Yep.
It's just such a difference. So
Mhm.
it doesn't last 4 weeks. Oh no.
Yeah. If it takes you 4 weeks to eat it, like, that's a you problem.
Right? You don't like bread enough, I guess.
I heard one that was really good that probably other people who listen to this podcast have already heard this, but I hadn't heard it, and it's, "That sounds like an ish you, not an ish me." I really liked that one.
Is that something the kids are saying?
Maybe because I did get it from a high school teacher, so
Mhm. All right.
could be the kids.
I don't remember that from this last year's PowerPoint presentations, but we had a lovely one given by your podcasting partner on Cool Girls and my podcasting partner's spouse on Last Time On, Gloria Ann, gave one on all of the slang the kids are using these days
Yeah, yeah.
because she is also a high school teacher.
I'll have to run this one by her, see if it passes the vibe test.
Yeah. Let me know how that goes.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're double Oing this thing, or are we gonna
Yes,
make a
I
new
think that's
thing
where
for the
we're
scale?
we've compared it to a bunch of bad things like white bread.
Yeah.
So I think this is it, man. I think we have diverted from the scale not to do something interesting, but to say like literally 0, guys.
Yeah. just skip this one.
It's bad.
If you were to
It's a
watch,
0.
if you would only be able to skip one episode of all of Babylon 5, I'd probably suggest this one.
Yeah, it reminds me of, I think it was an episode of Next Generation where a planet had made like a bunch of super soldiers, and then the super soldiers like turned on them.
Isn't that where Tasha Yar is from, or is that just a different episode?
Oh, I don't know Next Generation well enough to
Okay.
like make any
I-
further calls.
I haven't watched Next Gen in like a long time, actually.
Yeah,
I'm almost done with
but
my Voyager watch through. I'm getting there, but
the
I should go back.
the super soldier angle, I think, was better done on Next Generation. Like, this could have
on what's
been more
widely
interesting
considered to
over
be
here.
one of the best television shows of all time. Did it better than Crusade? What?
Let's acknowledge really quick, though, that there were some stinkers.
Oh, there are
in
for
that.
sure some stinkers. Looking at you, Code of Honor.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the super soldiers one is actually a stinker or not, but I remember something about this. And yeah, this is a plot line I feel like Sci-Fi has done in a couple of different places and handled it differently and better.
For sure. You don't have to hide that and better.
Yeah, I kind of made a face like I was
Joe's
an
not
embarrassed
listening to our
listener.
podcast. We don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, Joe.
We're not Gray 17 over here. We don't have to worry about that
no.
stuff.
No, that's perfectly fine with me.
Right. All right. Well, we got another one next week because
We got to do it again.
Fucking end. There's no fucking end, and we've got the Well of Forever.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a thing that could go on a while.
Right. Galen persuades Gideon to seek a mystical crossroads. An investigator probes Matheson's mind.
Okay, that part I'm interested in.
Some post-Psy-War, Psy-Core stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested in anything happening with Matheson and the telepaths. Like, tell me more.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm interested in the mystical well of forever or whatever. The mystical well of whatever. God damn it, I should have said that.
Well, that's that. I'm not excited about this next episode, I'll be honest. But what I am excited about is to say thank you to Jeremy Siegel.
Yay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
You're welcome. We really appreciate the shit out of you and everything you do. We love our theme music. Thank you so much for putting that together for us. You can find more of Jeremy's work at jeremysiegel42.bandcamp.com or on streaming services as Nuclear Jaguar.
And thank you to Angry Duck Time Machine on Instagram for our podcast artwork.
Hey, Aaron. We got a quick one for you this week. You're welcome. But also thank you for editing our podcast. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we do. The real MVPs.
Truth. Fuck.
And thanks, listener, for being here with us. We're doing this for you.
Yeah. We're not doing it for us.
We know that you love Crusade and you want to hear more.
God,
But
I saw
you know,
Ryan post on Gray 17 about making a joke about them doing Crusade today. Ryan from Yum Yum. And I'm just
oh
all like,
my,
if only.
yeah, yeah.
Not, no, this is the only place you're going to find Crusade. And we're the only ones who dare.
Well, if you're wanting to make like serious pod, mm.
Yeah, it's not going to. Just watch Deathwalker again. Just watch Deathwalker 13 times. You'll be happier.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? If you want to like join the conversation or just come hang out with some cool people, you
Yeah.
can come to our Discord. You can send us an email if you're more of an email person. We'd love to hear from you. I don't know if we're going to do like a series recap with like a ton of thoughts, but if you have them, we'd love to hear it.
I have one scheduled for us. I don't I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get lots of the Crusade hate mail that's been living in people's chests for years.
We have we have like a series recap thing as like the capstone on all of Babylon 5 together.
Uh-huh.
So maybe we'll just kind of fold those in.
Yeah. I think that we could get away with that.
Maybe find something else to do for that episode.
You have 3 Crusade scripts.
We do have 3 Crusade scripts. We might be able to, if we get a big group together, we might be able to do 2 readings.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do the bester one and then the finale. We'll see. I gotta put that fucking together tomorrow.
It's tough to choose when you have so listener, just so you know, we have 3 scripts for Crusade.
Yeah.
And remind me what the parameters were on those scripts.
So one is the episode that would have been the next one to air, which would have taken place like 4 episodes ago in our watch order. And it was supposed to kind of make some more things make sense and kind of do some work to align the new watch order. There's the uniform switch back to the old uniforms from the new ones in that episode, and a couple other continuity fixing things. There is an episode where they go to a colony and find Bester hanging out, who is a fugitive on the run from the Psy War.
Oh, I think we kind of remember that part of his plot line from our book, don't we?
Yeah, we talked about that in book club. So this is him hiding out well before book club. This is not literary critic Al in Paris.
No. Yeah, this is before his final evolution.
Yeah. But we'll get to see, we could see him there. And then we have what was going to be the season finale.
I mean, all of those are tempting in a way because of everything, you know.
They're not super long, so we'll see. We'll get a group together. I have to do some plotting and some planning, and I have to reach out to some of our friends in the podcasting community, the What Hapa Her network of podcasts. Of course, we're going to talk to all of our friends over on all of the other podcasts, launched and not, because we've got 2 podcasts that are about to launch at this point. I won't say exactly the date, but I've got a date. I do have a official start date for Attention Bajoran Workers right now.
All right.
That's Victor's news to share. So I won't put it out right now because I don't know when this airs in relation to that, but I would expect it to be very soon after this episode airs.
So exciting.
And then Cool Girls might get screwed up because of Beth and I's vacation, but we'll figure that out too.
Yeah.
But
no worries.
Cool Girls Don't Look at Explosions also has like 6 episodes recorded at this point and is raring to go. So exciting things happening on the network front. So I don't think those podcasts should all be out by the time we do our script reading, I think, because the script reading won't be until mid-October, but we'll see.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
Okay. Well,
that's it. We already said goodbye. I was about to segue into thank yous again.
We've said all the thank yous, but we haven't said any like goodbyes yet.
Okay, we should say goodbye. Hey, internet. We've bathed in this exit. We've taken it and thrown it over ourselves over and over again. It's absurd how long we've made the end of this episode.
But we're glad you stayed.
I feel like a lot of people, I don't feel like a lot of people. I know when I hit the thank yous on a podcast, I skip to the next episode.
Gasp.
Well, it's just like it's the end of the episode, right? Like, I mean, it's not like a malicious thing. It's like I see there's 2 minutes left. They start the thank yous. I stop. I guess for this episode, they'll see the thank you start, see that there's like 10 minutes left, and wonder what the fuck is going on.
The best thank yous. Yeah.
But yeah, thanks so much, Internet, for sticking around. Really appreciate you being
We really
here.
do.
Really appreciate
do.
the community that's developed around us making dick and fart jokes about a show that I fondly remember from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as we make jokes about Crusade being terrible, and it is 100% worth it to just be able to every Wednesday see the Discord pop off with people making jokes about how bad it is.
Yeah.
Or whatever else happens to be going on that day in the community. I really appreciate getting to interact with all of you and just being a part of it.
It has enriched my life
100%.
in a big way.
100%.
And especially right now when I'm going through like that big life change of being a student again, it is very grounding to come and spend this time with you once a week-ish.
This is something I was actually planning on asking you at the end, at like episode 150, when we were done with this all entirely before we moved on to Battlestar. Do you think you will go back and listen to do you go back and listen to this podcast? Like, have you listened to like season 1 of this podcast?
I listened, I think, through part of season 1, but I don't know that I made it all the way through season 1.
Not as it was airing. I mean, like now.
Oh, I haven't listened to anything.
I wonder what that would be like.
To listen to our own podcast again?
Well, no, it's so like, I mean, I famously can't listen to my own voice, right? I hate it.
Famously, yeah.
Yeah, I'm known for it. If you look up person who won't listen to themselves talk on the internet in the dictionary, that phrase, it's my face.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what an interesting microcosm that could be of our friendship.
Uh-huh.
Of us literally getting to know each other, like knowing each other now as well as we do.
Yeah.
Talking regularly outside of podcast, vacationing together. Like,
yeah.
Like talking about trips and stuff, you know, being involved in each other's lives, especially now, you know, you podcast with my partner. You know, some of your other friends in your life are some of my best friends. Like, we are like ingrained right now in each other's lives. And I wonder what we sound like back then sometimes. I'm like, I'm not interested in like going and hearing me talk. I'm interested in hearing what we sound like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's so interesting, like that the newly budding researcher in me is like, we put down a record of our friendship and its growth. Like, it's there forever until, you know, all the electrons die or whatever.
Right? It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, we'll see you next week, Internet.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Are we both high right now?
Sorry? Are we both high?